So we have a recent poll by Public Religion Research Institute, and it asks millennials if they're still interested in the church, if they have a religious affiliation, and what issues might have affected whether they have a religious affiliation or not. And the answer is clear. Listen to this. 70% of millennials think that religious groups are alienating young adults by being too judgmental on gay and lesbian issues. Oops. So all that anti-gay fervor pushed by the old right-wing religious groups, evangelical groups, like, yeah, come on our side, we hate the gays. It turns out it's actually driving people away from them. That's awesome. That's justice. Because young people realize that it's ridiculous, it's discriminatory, it's hateful, and then they're not interested in it. In fact, when millennials were asked about negativity around LGBT issues in religion affecting their departure, it came in among the most important issues. 17% saying that it was somewhat important factor in them leaving religion, and 14% saying a very important factor. So combined, that comes in at the top. In fact, when you now look at millennials, are you ready for this? I think this is a huge fact, okay? Only 2 out of 3 millennials now say they even have a religion. 1 in 3 millennials say that they have no religious affiliation at all. Now, understand why that's such a giant number. Because when you ask people, hey, what is your religious affiliation? The great majority of people, whether they actually practice it or don't practice it, will simply answer whatever they were born into. Oh, I'm a Christian, I'm a Jew, I'm a Muslim, etc., right? You have to go out of your way to say, no, even though I was born one of those things, I have no religious affiliation. I'm not any of those things. For 1 out of 3 millennials, people under the age of 34, to say that, oh, like I keep saying, Fox News thinks there's a culture war. You're right. And they think that we're winning. They're right. We are. Because we're in a new age of reason. There's this thing called the internet. My favorite story was when a guy whose job was to spread Mormonism throughout the world, you know how they send people to go preach about Mormonism? He started reading the internet and finding out what his religion was actually about. And then he started asking higher ups in the church. He's like, we don't really believe that, do we? They're like, yeah, of course we do. And he's like, oh boy. Okay. And that's what a lot of young people are saying, whether it's the LGBT issue or it's other issues. They're going online and saying, is that what the Bible really says? I mean, we had one of the legislators from Arizona on TV the other day with Anderson Cooper, and Anderson Cooper said, well, your bill discriminates against gays. How about if you discriminate against divorced people like it says in the Bible? He's like, where do you get that from? There's no such thing in the Bible. Of course there is. Of course there is. It's because they haven't read it. And you know what? Young people are more educated. They go online. They read verses in the Bible and they go, that's not making any kind of sense. And then they look at hateful people in the religious right wing. And they say, I don't want to be in a room with those guys. I don't hate gay people. I don't want to hate on them. I don't want to discriminate against anybody. So they are driving them away in droves. Now, among all Americans, 1 in 5 Americans say that they have no religious affiliation. But under the age of 34, it's 1 in 3, and it's only growing bigger. All my life, people have told me, oh, Cenk, you're against religion, you're crazy, you're fighting a losing battle, you're never going to win that battle. These religions have been around for 2,000 years. But do you know that for 1,800 years out of that 2,000, they couldn't even read the Bible. For so long, the Bible was written in Latin. So it wasn't in their native language, whether that was English, Spanish, or whatever it happened to be. So they had no idea what was in it other than what the priest told them. Now we can actually read the Bible, and it's online. You don't need just your priest. And when you find out what's in the Bible, and the Quran, and the Talmud, you run for the hills. Religion is going to go away. At least these religions and these dogmas and these ridiculous ancient texts that were put together by politicians from thousands of years ago, not religious figures, politicians thousands of years ago, they're going to go by the wayside. I'm not saying it's in 10 years, but tick-tock, tick-tock.